and welcome back to this second video. I've actually included this in another video which I made, which is aimed really at the manufacturing cycle, and I've included the purchasing cycle in that video, but I decided to actually withdraw that video and actually split it. I think it's just a little bit better. So we're going to look at the purchasing cycle now. The idea would be to obtain some stock for some manufacturing that we want to do. Let's just have a look at our stock balance at the moment. That will be in the stores warehouse. We just rebuild that list. Okay, that's 8 of these, 2 of those, 8 of those. All right. And you'll notice that, yes, the difference in amounts, or the not amounts, quantities, is because we need various quantities of each to perform or build certain modules in the manufacturing cycle. Okay, that's what is in the stores. Keep that in mind. What we're going to now initiate is a purchasing cycle. We start that off with a material request. There's some other material requests that have already been completed, received, manufactured, received. This is a purchasing material request, that's a manufacturing, and that's also a purchase material request. Now I'm taking this from a material request. There's the entire cycle can contain a material request, request for quote, quote from a supplier, purchase order, receipt, the whole list of documents that you can use. But you can also bypass, if that's the right word, certain of these. In fact, you can go straight into generating a purchase invoice. All right. I'm just taking it from a material request point of view. I just like doing that. I think within a big company, it's actually the better thing, because there's various people that actually perform various functions, and somebody would do the material request and somebody else would do the purchasing. And then it is good to be able to distinguish these different functions. Obviously, it depends on how big you are as a company. Material request, we want to create a new material request. It's a purchase type. All right. Obviously, you select which type there is with a drop down. We require it on the 1st of August, which is today. All of this is, just play numbers. What do we want to buy? We want to buy a leg. That's leg 1. We want to buy a leg cover. Now, why am I choosing these things? These all make up the one module we are going to manufacture, and these are all listed in the BOM, in the bill of material. Okay, when we do the manufacturing cycle, I'll show that to you and you can see exactly how that works. I need a cap screw and I need a nut, an M2 nut. And then, of course, I also want to buy some 550 plates. All right. Now, I need 1 of this, and I need 4 of these. And once again, if you look at the bill of materials in the production or manufacturing video, you'll see why. It's all defined in the BOM. In the BOM, you set out that a particular module or product consists of 2 of this and 1 of that and 4 of that. And this is all defined in there. All right, so 4 of that, 4 of that, 1 of this. That's it. That's our material request. We submit that. And if you look at the material request now, it says they're pending. All right, because it now needs to be processed further. And of course, the next step would be to, well, actually, to generate a purchase order. So we go to purchase order list. There are the previous purchase orders that we did. We say new, and where are we going to buy this from? We're going to buy it from one of our suppliers. We require it by the 1st of August, which is today. And you can go ahead and fill these in manually again, or you can simply say get items from material request. If you had more than one open, you would have the list here and you select the correct one. In this case, it's rather easy. You'll see it fills out the items there. You'll notice that there's already pricing here. All right, that's because I've already purchased some. If you do it the first time, you will only have pricing. You would have to fill in pricing here. All right, so just keep that in mind. Let's just make sure I've got everything. Oh, the target warehouse must go to the stores warehouse. That's why I always double check, go back and double check, because sometimes you go so quickly that you miss something. I want it in that warehouse. These are the items. And next would be our VAT. You can define these templates. I've already defined one which says that our VAT is 15%. In your country, it's going to be different. But you define a template for that. And then, of course, the total was 66 plus the VAT takes it to 75.90. And that is it. All right. So then you click Save. And then, of course, you can view how it looks if you would print it. There's your purchase order with all the information. All right, and you submit this. All right. And now, of course, next up would be your invoice and your receipt. So let's first create a receipt to accept this into our store. Our delivery note, oopsie. Let's make that 3. Address, currency, accepted warehouse is stores. There's all our items. And we're accepting 4 of those each and 1 of this. The tax has been completed. You see it auto completes everything. If you say, get, well, you can't see it now anymore, but if you create a purchase receipt directly from your purchase order, which is very nice. Yeah, we've got everything. So we say save and we submit. All right, there we've submitted it. Let's just have a look at our purchase order state. It's now to bill. All right, next step would be the billing cycle. And you also see that we've received it, but we haven't billed it. Right, so it does indicate the state constantly of your documents. All right, so next up is purchase invoice list. We can create a new one, and we get the items from the purchase order, which is 3 there. We get the items, it completes the supplier, and of course your items, and the VAT, it auto completes. Let's just go back and make sure all the other things are in. Supplier invoice detail would be just some number. Invoice date would be today. And yeah, you can fill in address if you want to. We're not going to update the stock. It's the stock's already in. I'll show it to you just now. There's our tax. No additional discounts. Advance payments, payment terms. No. So we say save and we say submit, and now if we look at the list, now it says unpaid, because the next step is now to pay this invoice. And we click on the invoice and we say create a payment. Here you can choose the mode of payment, check, credit card. Let's just use cash. The supplier, you can fill in the bank account of the supplier there if you need be. RC World. Here's the accounts drop down. It shows you it's going to affect the cash account 1110 and the creditors 2110 accounts. Okay. And here's our purchase invoice that we are about to pay. It automatically allocates the full amount. You can actually modify that if you want to make a partial payment. Here's some transaction references. We're just going to say cash and then of course the date. And that should be it. We say save and we say submit. Alright, so now if you go and look at your purchase invoice, it now says paid. Alright, so everything's been paid. If we look at the stock and we draw a stock from stores, a stock report, we say rebuild. There you'll see 12 of those and 3 of this, because previously it was 8. 8, 8, 2, 8, 8, 8, and 4 plus 1 there gives you those. So our stock is automatically updated. Let's just go to the chart of accounts. Here you can see, well, yes, the liabilities, current liabilities, and accounts payable. There we go. There's the creditors. All right, if you look at the ledger, I just want to make sure that the dates are documents. Just make sure there's lots of filtering on these documents. Just make sure that you are looking at the correct period to that period. And here you can see on the first, there you can see the entry, the purchase invoice, and then of course the payment. All right, and well, actually there's all the other previous payments as well and invoices, but we're just interested in this one. There's the purchase invoice that we raised and of course the payment. And on the chart of accounts, funds, current assets, we've got cash. And if we look at the ledger entry there, let me just get the right period again. There we go. And there you can see the payment that was made for that invoice, cash. Of course, we need to replenish this because it's now sitting at minus 303 together with all the other payments that was made, and that you will transfer money from the bank to the cash account with a journal entry. But there it reflects, because remember when we did the invoice, we could choose which accounts, and it was the cash account and the creditors account. So it's updated the corresponding accounts correctly. Right, next we'll move into the manufacturing cycle, and we can see how we use these items that we've just purchased to produce some stock. Join us for that one.